morning for breakfast. I've got some eggs right here and some Beeler's bacon. It's really good bacon. And then some bread and some maple syrup. And I've also got some cinnamon, so we're gonna make some cinnamon French toast, which is really good. It's one of my favorites. And I like doing it over the cast iron because it just tastes better in my opinion. So, got the cast iron warming up right now. And I'm also getting some water warmed up for coffee. I've got the grounds already all done up, but I forgot to get the coffee on the stove or the water on the stove when I started doing the grind, so that's all good, no big deal. But I'm gonna cook the bacon in the deep dish and then the French toast in the shallow dish, and hopefully I can time it to where they get done about the same time, because I also like to dip my bacon into the maple syrup. And this maple syrup, this is the legit stuff, the legit like $18 bottle, or I don't know how much it is. It's over 10, I think. But it's the amber color, rich taste maple syrup, 100% pure Vermont. I love this stuff. And it's such a big difference from the regular syrup. So anyway, let's get cooking. Alright, so you just want to check the underside of this and see if it's toasted up. Looking really good. I'm going to go ahead and make a flip, and then I think when I put my second piece on, I'm going to go for four pieces of French toast here, and it's looking really good. But I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw on the bacon at the when I throw the second piece on. That way it kind of times it right, or hopefully it'll time it right. That way the bacon comes off the same time as all the French toast is ready. So we'll see if we can hit the nail on the head with that one. Alright, so we're looking good. We got a nice toast on this side and a nice toast on that side. So we're going to go ahead and throw that over to the warming plate here. And this plate is on the metal tray that's on the far side of the stove here, but it's still warm, so it keeps that metal tray hot. So let's go ahead and throw another piece on. Alright, a little bit better view from the top down here. Alright, let's check this and see how it's looking. This stove, this skillet's getting pretty hot since it's up towards the front. It's looking pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, I could use a little bit more toasting though. So once this second one's done, we're going to go ahead and throw on the bacon. Alright, I think we're about ready to take this one off. Well, one thing I want to mention is that in between the stacks here, when I put the French toast over here, I always put some butter down. And that way the butter kind of permeates all throughout all of the stacks instead of just the top of the French toast. So that's just something to think about when you're keeping it warm over there. Alright, decided to change up the view a little bit here, the angle. That way you could see what was really going on. So I'm using, even though the stove is a little bit crowded right now, I'm using cooking spaces that are hot. Like if you see where the, I don't know if you can see it in the video here, but there's a line that goes right here. That's where the shelf is on the side here. So the shelf is not nearly as warm as the cooking surface is. But, you know, with two 10-inch skillets, I can still fit them on there and still have the stove fan going because it's pretty cold here this morning, so I don't want the tent to get too chilly. So I can get all these things going and still have a spot over here to keep the French toast nice and warm. So the last thing I want to do is get it to where it's you know, it's cold when I take it off the stove. So everything's going according to plan. I'm a little bit behind on the bacon as far as the cook time is concerned, so I probably recommend throwing that on after the first piece of French toast is done. But otherwise, we're looking good for breakfast here. All right, now as you can see, I switched up the bacon position of where the skillet was at there. This gives it a little bit more heat and can kind of speed up the cooking time. So I'm going to take that piece, throw it back. This one, throw it back. Items that you have closer to the stovepipe, it's going to be warmer or hotter, I guess, for the cook surface. Stuff back here is going to be a little bit cooler. So I'll take the bacon that's already been cooked a little bit more so than the others and put it towards the back to give it more of a slower cook. Just about done here. All right. All right, that actually came together really well. Everything, I just checked this, it's just about done being toasted. I only had enough for about another half piece of cinnamon toast. And then the bacon, I just checked that, and it just all came together right at the end here perfectly. So everything's looking good. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take this bacon and pull it off. Oh, let's see here. Come on now. As I hit the little eco fan there with some bacon. Whoops. And then let's get this off here. We're ready to party. All right, we're all done. Let me go ahead and grab this and bring it over. That's what we're working with this morning. And then, like I said, I've got this really good maple syrup, which is going to be bomber on both the bacon and the French toast. I got to put a little bit more butter on the French toast, but overall, couldn't be more pleased. All right, breakfast turned out freaking awesome. A lot of people know that I'm a big fan of the breakfast burritos, but I also like doing the French toast like that. So one piece of advice I want to give people about cooking over a wood stove is that the cook times are all different. It's not the same as cooking over a regular stove, obviously, just because you've got varying heat and you can't really tell what temperature the surface temperature is. And so that's why having a sidewall or a side shelf on your wood stove is extremely useful for cooking, because when the stove gets too hot, you can't just turn it down, you know. So you got to think about that. When there's too much heat on here, on the stove top, on top of the firebox, you can just take the cast iron skillet, move it over to the cooler shelf and let it cool down a little bit and continue cooking. And so that's how I regulate heat on the items that I'm cooking and items that I'm baking. So everything turned out great with this. It's a real simple breakfast. I mean, most people are familiar with French toast. Heck, you just take it and dip it in eggs. I just added cinnamon to it, and then wanted to show how I go about taking care of two different items, cooking at the same time, and all that stuff. So all in all, it took about, I'd say, I don't know, 15 minutes to cook everything up, and it was a really great breakfast, nice and full. So that's it for this morning's cooking session. It's real simple and basic, but really good. So if you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section below. Thanks.